Have you ever wondered why so many people over 70 end up in the hospital for reasons that could have been avoided? Here's the shocking truth. More than half of emergency visits in older adults aren't because of accidents or rare diseases. They come from small, everyday habits that quietly wear down the body, one day at a time. Take Mr. Harris, a 74-year-old from Ohio. He thought he was doing everything right, watching TV in the evenings, eating simple meals, cutting back on water to avoid late-night bathroom trips. But within a year, his blood pressure spiked, his balance weakened, and one small fall turned into a broken hip that changed his independence forever. And that's where the real question comes in. Are you making one of these seemingly harmless mistakes right now without even realizing it? Stay with me, because in this video, we'll uncover 5 daily habits that seniors over 70 must avoid to protect both their health and their longevity. And don't worry, this isn't about scare tactics. It's about awareness and simple, gentle changes that can add years of strength, energy, and independence to your life. Habit number 4 is especially surprising because it sounds like something healthy, but done the wrong way, it can actually be dangerous. So if you've ever told yourself that what you do day to day doesn't really matter anymore, I promise by the end of this video, you'll see just how much power your everyday choices still hold. And more importantly, you'll walk away with practical steps you can start using today to stay strong, safe, and full of life. Let's start with something so simple that most people dismiss it. Protein. Many seniors over 70 quietly cut it out of their meals without even realizing the impact. Maybe it feels easier to just have a slice of toast, a bowl of soup, or a little fruit for dinner. It feels light. It feels harmless. But here's the hidden danger. Without enough protein, your body starts breaking down muscle faster than it can rebuild. I think of Mrs. Marjorie, a 74-year-old widow who always believed in eating light to stay healthy. For months, she would have nothing but crackers and tea for lunch, or a small salad for dinner. She thought she was making the smart choice. But over time, her arms grew weaker, her legs less steady. One afternoon, as she tried to carry laundry up the stairs, her legs simply gave out. The fall wasn't just painful, it marked the beginning of losing her confidence in living independently. That's the reality of skipping protein. After 70, your body loses muscle mass at a much faster rate. Muscles aren't just about strength, they protect your bones, keep your balance steady, and even support your heart and immune system. Without enough protein, you don't just get weaker. You lose the very foundation that keeps you independent. The good news is, fixing this doesn't have to be complicated. Think of it like a simple rule. Aim for a palm-sized portion of protein with each meal. It could be scrambled eggs in the morning, a cup of Greek yogurt with fruit, a small piece of chicken or salmon at lunch, or even beans and lentils in a hearty stew for dinner. These small choices add up to stronger muscles, steadier steps, and fewer risks of falls and hospital visits. So the next time you sit down at the table, ask yourself, where's my protein? That one simple question can make the difference between feeling fragile and feeling strong enough to face the day. Now let's talk about another sneaky habit that seems harmless but quietly chips away at your health. Sitting too long without moving. At first glance, it feels comfortable, even deserved after years of hard work. You sit in your favorite chair, turn on the TV, maybe knit, read the paper, or scroll through your phone. Hours slip by. But here's the truth. Your body wasn't designed to stay still for so long, especially after 70. I remember Mr. Lawson, 76, who prided himself on being retired and finally taking it easy. He would spend whole afternoons in his recliner, watching shows back to back. It seemed like rest, but over time, he noticed something unsettling. His back stiffened, his legs grew heavy, and when he finally tried to stand, his knees trembled. One day, he stumbled walking to the kitchen, not because of age itself, but because his muscles had been idle for too long. You see, Long stretches of sitting slow your blood circulation, weaken the muscles in your legs and core, and even increase the risk of clots and heart problems. It also robs you of energy, making you feel more tired the longer you sit. And here's the irony. The more you sit, the harder it becomes to get up and move. But the solution doesn't require hours at the gym. Think small, simple, regular movement. Every 30-45 minutes, stand up and stretch. Walk to the kitchen for a glass of water, do a few gentle leg lifts while holding onto a chair, or even march in place during a commercial break. These little interruptions are like wake-up calls to your body, reminding your muscles and joints to stay alive and active. Mr. Lawson eventually learned this lesson. He set a small timer on his phone to buzz every half hour. At first, it felt silly, but soon, standing up, stretching, and moving became part of his rhythm. His balance improved, his energy returned, and most importantly, he no longer felt trapped in his chair. So the question is, how long have you been sitting today? Just getting up for a few minutes could be the difference between slowly declining and staying steady, strong, and independent. Here's a habit that almost every senior I talk to admits to. Not drinking enough water. It sounds so simple, yet the consequences can be serious. Many people over 70 deliberately drink less because they worry about making too many trips to the bathroom at night, or they simply don't feel as thirsty as they used to. But the body still needs water, perhaps more than ever, to keep running smoothly. Take Margaret, 81, who always kept a teacup beside her chair. She thought her few cups of tea a day were enough. But one summer afternoon, she felt dizzy when she stood up, her hands trembling as if her body was trying to warn her. At first, she brushed it off as fatigue. Later, her doctor told her she was chronically dehydrated. Her blood pressure was unstable, her skin was dry, and even her memory lapses were linked to not drinking enough water. You see, dehydration doesn't always announce itself with obvious thirst. It sneaks in through fatigue, headaches, confusion, constipation, and even sudden spikes in blood pressure. For seniors, who may already be managing health conditions, even mild dehydration can magnify problems and increase the risk of falls. The solution is gentler than you might think. Instead of forcing down large glasses at once, keep a small glass or bottle within reach and sip throughout the day. Flavor water with a slice of lemon, cucumber, or even a dash of herbal tea if plain water feels dull. And yes, it's okay to drink in the evening. Just pace yourself earlier in the day to avoid too many nighttime bathroom trips. Margaret eventually made this shift. She began keeping a small, pretty glass pitcher on her side table, and she treated hydration like self-care rather than a chore. Within weeks, her energy lifted, her skin softened, and she noticed her mind felt clearer in conversations. So ask yourself this: when was the last time you had a proper glass of water today? Because staying hydrated isn't just about quenching thirst, it's about giving your body the fuel it quietly depends on to keep you healthy, sharp, and strong after 70. Another hidden daily habit that quietly chips away at longevity is the overuse of salt and processed foods. Many older adults fall into this pattern without even realizing it. Processed foods are convenient, they taste familiar, and salt enhances flavor in ways that comfort us. But behind that comfort lies a silent risk. Let me share a story about Harold, 79, who loved his canned soups and deli meats. Every afternoon, he would prepare a sandwich with ham, cheese, and pickles, thinking it was a quick and harmless meal. He rarely added salt himself, so he believed he was eating moderately. But over time, his ankles began to swell, and he noticed his heart racing after simple walks. When his doctor checked his blood pressure, it was dangerously high. The culprit? The hidden sodium is packed into his favorite processed meals. The tricky part is that processed foods don't just mean chips or fast food. They hide in frozen dinners, sauces, salad dressings, and even seemingly healthy snacks like crackers. For seniors, Excessive sodium pulls water into the bloodstream, raising blood pressure and straining the heart and kidneys. And when combined with a body that no longer processes salt as efficiently as it did decades ago, the results can be far more severe. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up flavor to protect your health. Replace that canned soup with a simple homemade version. Fresh vegetables, beans, and herbs can be seasoned with garlic, lemon juice, or spices instead of relying on salt. Swap deli meats for freshly cooked chicken or turkey. Even small changes, like rinsing canned beans before using them, can cut sodium significantly. Harold made these adjustments gradually. He didn't feel deprived. In fact, he began enjoying meals more because his taste buds woke up to real flavors again. And his blood pressure? It dropped back to a safer range within months, giving him energy and confidence to stay active. So the next time you reach for that convenient packaged meal, pause and ask, is this food quietly sabotaging my health? Because protecting your longevity after 70 often begins not with big medical decisions, but with small, daily choices about what goes on your plate. One of the most underestimated daily habits that can shorten life after 70 is neglecting sleep. Many seniors shrug it off, saying things like, "I'll sleep when I'm tired enough," or older people just don't need as much rest. But science tells a very different story. Good sleep is as vital as food and exercise for protecting health, especially in later years. Let's think about Eleanor, 76. She would often stay up late watching television, sometimes dozing in her chair before dragging herself to bed around midnight. Her nights were filled with light, interrupted sleep, and her mornings began with grogginess that lasted for hours. Over time, her forgetfulness worsened, her mood became more fragile, and her balance wasn't as steady. She assumed these were just signs of aging, until her doctor pointed out that chronic poor sleep was accelerating the very decline she feared. When the body doesn't get enough quality rest, it fails to repair tissues, regulate blood sugar, and keep the immune system strong. For seniors, this can mean higher risks of memory problems, falls, heart disease, and even a weakened ability to fight off infections. Poor sleep is not just an inconvenience. It's a health hazard hiding in plain sight. The encouraging part is that small, intentional changes can restore a sense of control. Eleanor started creating a nightly routine, dimming the lights an hour before bed, setting aside her television and phone, and listening to soft music instead. She also kept her bedroom cooler and invested in more supportive bedding. Within weeks, she noticed her mornings were clearer, her mood was steadier, and she even felt more confident walking around the house. It's worth asking yourself, do you treat sleep as an essential pillar of health or as an afterthought? Because in truth, sleep is not wasted time. It is the foundation that helps every other healthy habit actually work. Protecting it may be one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to extend not just the length, but the quality of life after 70. We've just uncovered 5 everyday habits that may look harmless, but can quietly chip away at your health and longevity after 70. Skipping protein at meals leaves your muscles weaker. Sitting too long without breaks steals your independence. Forgetting to hydrate slows down your body and sharpens the risk of falls or confusion. Leaning too heavily on salt and processed foods strains your heart and kidneys. And neglecting quality sleep robs your mind and body of the recovery they desperately need. The powerful truth is this: none of these habits requires a doctor's prescription to change. They're in your hands, in your daily choices, waiting for you to take control. Even one small adjustment, a glass of water, a stretch between meals, a bedtime routine, can ripple into a stronger body, clearer mind, and longer, healthier life. Which of these 5 habits do you see in your own routine? Comment below with the number that resonates most with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Your answer might inspire someone else who's watching and facing the same challenges. And if this video opened your eyes, don't just stop here. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because the next video will take you even deeper into the daily choices that can either protect your future or quietly put it at risk.